Hello my crafty friends! Welcome back to the Maker's Gonna Learn channel, and in today's video, stick around because y'all, we are testing supplies that we got off the TikTok shop. I mean, I don't know about it yet. We're gonna test them out. We're gonna see what we found. We scoured the TikTok shop to try to find some really good craft supplies with some good deals, and we will show you what we found. Now, as you all know, TikTok shop is in its infancy, so I do feel like they are going to be adding more supplies there. There's going to be people promoting things. I think it's just a matter of time before they really truly break into the craft world when it comes to craft items being on TikTok shop. So let's just go ahead. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the thumbs up button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can get notified every time we get crafty. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what we got. So here you can see we got all of this stuff in this cute little organizer from the TikTok shop, plus this little resin silicone jar. We're gonna talk about that here in a minute. I'm not really 100% sure about that yet. So first thing I wanna do is let's talk about all of the different things that we have here on the table. Then we are going to test some of these things to see if they work, if we like them, kind of try to figure them out together. So first thing, we have our cute little organizer. Y'all, I'm obsessed with this. Honestly, we got one of these organizers, similar organizers, before from Temu, but I feel like I like this one a whole lot. I think this is great for your craft table. You can organize it by Cricut pens or markers, weeding tools, true control knife, scissors. You can put stuff in the middle. You can put little stuff. You can see we have this little guy out here on the edge plus our little sander. So I do love this organizing tray. This organizing tray was $8.92, so you're gonna get a really good deal on that. That is actually gonna be the most expensive thing that we talk about today, is this organizer for $8.92. I mean, you can't beat that. Next up, we do have this. Now, this is not necessarily, it's not a conventional craft product, but it is one that you're going to use, and that is going to be a screwdriver. You're going to need it more so than you would think when it comes to doing crafts. But y'all, this is what the screwdriver looks like. It does have this free spinning end, so you can hold it here and screw this way and that way and not have to use both. I do wish with this free spinning end, it was a little longer. That way I could hold it and twist it this way. But because it's so short, it's like I can't hold up here and twist with my fingers where I wish I could. If that free spinning mechanism came down to about right there, I could hold it up here and spin it. So that's just me being nitpicky. I mean, y'all, this was $4.18. Beggars can't be choosers, right? I mean, you can't. But I do think it's great to have on hand, especially in your craft room, just to have all of these little bits. These are gonna be smaller, so they're gonna be a lot better when it comes to crafts, working on very small things. And it does tell you if it is a star bit, like all these down here are star bits. These are flat heads. Then we have our Phillips. This one says it's a triangle bit. It sure enough is. I've never needed a triangle bit, but that one is right there. And these are gonna be like your hexagon bits. They have like the hexagon tip on them. So yeah, there's a couple like specialty tips in here, like this one. This guy looks like a Phillips, but it only has 3 prongs on it. Kind of reminds me of a Mercedes emblem. Anyway, you get the point for $4.18. I mean, I think it's a fairly decent little buy, especially if you don't have one already for your craft room. Love that. Next up, we have this cute little pen that is like a fine point blade on the end. Now, this is also one, I think we got one of these from Temu as well, but we got this one off TikTok shop. We're going to test this out. I'm gonna show you, you can use these for if you have vinyl or HTV that the Cricut for some reason snagged on one little area. These are great to have have this on hand. That way you can take it and just kind of make a little slice. So I do love that. This one was $2.64, so pretty good little buy. Pretty good. Next up, which is probably my favorite thing that we got, is this little handheld sander. How flippin' cute and how functional is this for crafting? Like, this to me is all I need when it comes to crafting, because I'm just needing to sand the edge a little bit or just sand a little top. Now, if you are doing a lot of woodworking crafts, making signs, this is not going to be for you. Obviously, you're gonna need a bigger sander, but it is Velcro. This part is like squishy, rubbery. I love that about it. It did come with, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 14 sanding pads, if I counted correctly, plus this $3.66. In my opinion, best buy of the whole thing. Like, I plan on using this tremendously. I will say it does come with different grits. So this one is going to be a 240 grit, and there are 5 things of the 240. This one looks like it's probably gonna be an 80, and I think that you get 4, 5. This one is an 80 as well. So you get 5 things of 240, 5 of what I'm guessing at is 80. And if I had to guess, this one would be, doesn't have an, if I had to speculate, this one would probably be about 120. So you get 5 of those. So I'm assuming 580, 5 120, 5 240. You do get different grits with this for $3.60. And I was also thinking, like, what could you do once you ran out of these? There are pads that you can get that you could just cut down to fit. I think that would be great. I'm not sure, I've not seen like refills for this, but there are Velcro pads for other sanders that you could get and still like trim them down and probably get a better value out of it. But y'all, I'm so excited for this. I'm obsessed with this. So I say this one was a win for sure. Next up, we have a little corner rounder. This is gonna be great for our paper crafting friends. I do have some paper here. I'm going to test out this paper. I already have it braided down really well on the mat. I'm gonna test these markers out in the Cricut on this paper, and then we will test this little corner rounder for our paper crafters. This one ended up coming out to $1.96. I'll be real honest, I don't know what a typical corner rounder cost, but I feel like $1.96 is pretty competitive if it works. So we're gonna test this out. I do think this was great for our little paper crafters. And then, not finally, but the next one that I wanna talk about are these markers. Now, Alicia says she's obsessed with these markers. She says they are great. These are acrylic markers. These markers came out to $5.63. You have white, purple, brown, blue, orange, yellow. This is like a light green. That's a super cute, pretty green. Pink, red, and like a more so a standard green. Now these do not fit in the Cricut, but we're gonna wrap them with some rubber bands and see if we can get them to fit, because if we can, and these write really well on the Cricut, this might be something y'all wanna get. Now, the last thing that we did get, and this is, I'm a little confused about this one, guys. This is a silicone mold for resin. It is clear, meaning you can use UV resin, but it's thick, meaning if you do use UV resin, I don't know how it's gonna cure. I think this is gonna have to be a 2-part AB resin mold. I don't think it's gonna work as well for UV because it does have to be so thick. Like I said, it is a white / clear milky mold, so it should, in theory, be able to work, but I don't think it would. I think this is gonna have to be a 2-part resin mold. But what it is it's a mold for a jar. So you pour your resin in here, this ends up being the bottom of the jar, you flip it over, this is the lip of your jar. What I'm confused about is this is supposed to be the mold for the lid, y'all, but this is just a straight, like there's no ridges anywhere in this mold. It just looks like it's a little topper. It's a hat, not a lid. I don't know. Either way, it's a mold. I'm not gonna necessarily test it. Maybe I'll test it and come back and let you guys know later, but I will tell you that this mold was $3.98. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't really know much about it. I personally don't see how it's gonna work. It's gonna be a hat for a jar, not a lid for a jar. That's just my thoughts. But that is what it is, and we did get it off the TikTok shop. It may, honestly, if I were to do it, it may work perfectly. Who knows? This might be one I will have to test in the craft room. So, with all of that being said, the ones that I definitely want to test and show you guys and see if they work, number one is going to be the markers. We're going to test those out on our Cricut. We're also going to test out this little corner rounder after I test the markers. We'll grab us some wood, use our sander, see how well that works. And also grab me some vinyl and we'll see how well this thing cuts, and we will let you guys know. So the first thing we're gonna do is we are gonna test these pens out. Now, these pens are not going to fit in your Cricut, and let's go over here to camera 3 and I'm gonna show you. This is your standard, this is what is going to come in your clamp A right here. This is just to hold your Cricut pens, and you can see I will put a Cricut pen in here like that. It clicks, it closes, it's beautiful. But did you know that you can take this out and fit different size pens in here? So all you have to do, these sides kind of move like they'll squeeze in together. So I would suggest pushing it from the bottom. You can push from the bottom, kind of squeeze the side and push up from the bottom, and that will come out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pen, and I'm going to take a rubber band. Now let me show you really quickly what rubber band I am using today. I'm using a fairly wide band rubber band. I would say this is gonna be more of your standard size. So this is the wide one that we're using. This part truly doesn't matter. What matters is how thick you get it. You can use any rubber band you have on hand. What we're doing is we're just going to be wrapping this around, and I do have the lid on it right now. We'll move it down. I'm just wrapping this around the marker like so, just to make it thicker right there in the middle. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the lid off, make sure that kind of stays up right there. And now you can see when we push this in, which that's a little bit thick. Let's see if we can maybe size it down just a little bit. You can now see that I can push this marker down in the clamp, place it where it needs to go, and close the clamp, and in theory, our Cricut should be able to write with it. So let's go ahead and test it out. I do have just a very basic heart already on my canvas on my InDesign Space. So what I'm gonna do now is that is connecting to my machine. I just have a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper here on my mat. I'm gonna load that in. I am going to choose medium cardstock. I did change the function to pen, so it is a pen function. It should draw. What it's doing now is it's going to measure the length of my mat, and we're going to see if these markers work with the rubber band. So clearly I have the marker up way too high. It didn't even come close to touching. So I'm probably gonna have to troubleshoot this rubber band. That one was probably a little too thick. Let's try out this more standard size rubber band, see how well this does. Like I said, I'm just wrapping it around the marker. Now let's move it on down. Okay, there you go, beautiful. That one should work. So maybe a more standard one is going to work better. Let's press play again, let it draw again. Oh yeah. Look at that. That drew so well. So if you are going to do this, you are going to have to play around with your placement of your marker and how far down it goes. Obviously, the thicker band did not work. This size band, or this size rubber band, was too much, but this smaller regular size works. So this should be something you have laying around. If you don't, they're not very expensive, but you can do that and wrap that around your markers as like a little workaround. So y'all, that was so good. I really want to write with one of these markers. Oh, so butter smooth, y'all. Oh yeah. Look how much coverage that marker is getting. Oh yeah, those markers are the bee's knees. That is definitely, you need to get those markers. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test this little corner trimmer. See how well it works. Ha! It trims those corners right off. Honestly, that looks insanely good. I don't know what it is about rounded edges on a piece of paper that just does it for me, or on a square really, but I love it. So yeah, I'm gonna say markers are definitely, we're getting the markers. Hopefully that didn't break that. Y'all know me and my dropsy, it didn't break it, it still works. Beautiful. I also, if you're a paper crafter, I think this for $1.96, I mean, I would get it. That's just me. So the last thing that I want to test is our little sander. I did grab a piece of basswood. I'm going to take the 80 grit sandpaper off, and I think I'm going to go with the 120. And I'm just going to sand like a little corner and see how I like it. First of all, I love it for this. Look how easy it would be just to, oh yeah. Now let's see how it does here, like if you're just wanting to sand. Oh yeah. This is so much easier. I love this. It's like ergonomically correct. Also how you normally hold it. For sure that. For sure, for sure. So this is a yes. Markers are a yes. Paper corner trimmer is a yes. Organization thing is a yes. The last thing I want to check is this. And let me find us some vinyl. Here is some scrap HTV. Just curious to see how well it cuts. So you do need to make sure that it is turned the proper way. But like, pretty sure I just cut a little box out with it, at least. Oh snap, it cut through everything. So yeah, I also think if you don't have one of these for when your Cricut, maybe, oh, that's the key to it. Okay, here's the key to this one. You can't hold it straight up and down, like it doesn't cut as well. You do have to hold it more so at an angle, and it cuts super smooth. Like, do y'all see it cut all the way through both? And I barely put any pressure on that. That's crazy. And it cut through both. Wow. I mean, this is a 120-pound cardstock, first of all. Let's see if it cut it out. I mean, it got pretty close. It didn't cut it all the way out, but it got pretty close. Pretty impressed. I mean, I think if you don't have one of those, I would definitely grab one of these as well. So what are your thoughts? Are there some things that we found in the TikTok shop that you think are a must grab, or are there some craft supplies that you have found that maybe we need to know about and test out that you've seen? Let us know in the comments what you think. I'd love to hear what you found on TikTok Shop, maybe what you've seen that you want us to test next, or if there's something on here that you loved that you are definitely gonna grab, or maybe something you learned. We love to hear that type of feedback. Let us know in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. It's completely free for you all to do. Now, if you want to craft with us more, you have a die cutting machine and you want to learn your die cutting machine and craft with us more. If you didn't know, we do have a membership website called Makers Gonna Learn, same as our YouTube channel. And what we do is we love to bring you inspiration, education, and motivation to get your die cutting machine out and learn it and start using it. I mean, you've already invested so much money into this machine. Why are you letting it collect dust? So if you want to check out our membership site and all of the files and fonts that we have for you and all of our members and classes and courses and everything else, check out that first link down below. You can try us out for $1. I mean, you literally have nothing to lose. It's $1. So click that link down below and check us out. Also, if you want to check out another hack video, check this one out here.